lovely and darling viewers, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy, and this time I'm reviewing the Superman comics from DC Comics. So these are Volumes 1, Son of Superman, Volume 2, Trials of the Super Son, and Volume 3, Multiplicity. Together, these cover issues 1 through 17 of the series, and art and writing is by Peter J. Tomasi, Patrick Gleason, Doug Mahnke, and George Jimenez. And a lot of other people, so all of the names are in the description below if you want to check that out. So this series follows a new Superman. He is from an parallel universe, and he has gotten stuck on our Earth, or the Earth of DC Rebirth. I'm slightly confused by this setup, but I really like this new Superman, so I'm going with it. This version of Clark Kent also has his wife Lois Lane and their son Jonathan, and they're entering into a world where the previous Superman has just died. And so he's really struggling with this counterpart of his disappearing and how we fill that void and still honor the old Superman. Also, I really love watching Clark Kent in this family dynamic with Lois and their son John, and just watching them try to be normal and also raise their son to have strong moral character and be responsible and a good upstanding citizen. Like, I really love the family aspect of these comics. It's my favorite bit. So in Volume 1, the first story is Rebirth, and it follows the new Superman showing up at the grave of the old Superman and really just trying to mourn him and honor him. And while he's there, he encounters Lana Lang, and the two of them trying to sort out their feelings on this old Superman dying, but they're still being a Superman on Earth. It's kind of touching, but not really my favorite story in here. My favorite bit is when we get into the proper run of the series, and we have Clark, Lois, and their son Jonathan just trying to have a normal life on this farm, and I love it so much. I love the family dynamic. I love Clark trying to be a good father and trying to instill everything that his father, Jonathan Kent, instilled in him, passing on that legacy. And also we have the young Jonathan, first getting his superpowers and testing them out, finding out what he can do, and also learning, the responsibilities of having those powers and why you have to learn to control them. So other fun reoccurring characters in these comics are Kathy Brandon, who is a girl that is Jonathan's age, and she lives the next farm over with her grandfather. And she witnesses Jonathan using his superpower. So she knows his secret, sort of, but is also helping keep it a secret from everybody else, which I love. Also, the two of them just getting into trouble together is fun. We also get to see the Justice League with Batman and Wonder Woman skirting their way around this new Superman that is eerily similar to the Clark that they knew before, but isn't their Clark. And we have Clark knowing these characters, these people from his world, and they're not the same to him either. So I like that, just that twist where they're trying to feel each other out. They've got this basic feel that I know you, but I'm not exactly sure if I can trust you. Also, Superman's dog, Krypto, who is this Kryptonian dog who can fly and stuff, is also making an appearance, and how can you not love the dog? Seriously. The main conflict in this first volume is this character called the Eradicator coming. He's Kryptonian, and he's super obsessed with the purity of the Kryptonian bloodlines. And John, being half human, half Kryptonian, not the Eradicator's favorite. So we have Clark and Lois trying to protect their son, and John, still not knowing his powers and, not knowing what he can do with them yet and how strong they are. So the art in here is really fun and light, I guess. I'm digging this art style, and I'm really digging the just having normal life part going on. He's still Superman, he's still out saving the world, but he's also got a family and trying to balance them. And John is adorable. How awesome is that? We have this 10-year-old kid who has superpowers, and his dad's a superhero, so what's not awesome about that? John is one of the best parts of this series. Lois is also amazing. I am definitely digging the family dynamic between the Kents here. Like Lois definitely has her moments of total kick-assness in this series too. Like, do not mess with Mama Bear. But also just like Clark and John going off and being superheroes together, which is kind of like the best training ever, I think. Getting to go out there with Superman. I love it. I love these guys together, honestly. In Volume 2, Trials of the Super Son, we have like 4 distinct stories going on in here, so a lot of shorter ones. I actually really dug this. It made like really light reading. There was no long story arc and drawn out battles. So the first story has the Kent family trying to go to the county fair and be normal. Like Lois specifically tells Clark not to use his superpowers for a night, and it's kind of a challenge, and maybe things don't quite go as well as planned, but it's just a sweet little touch. I dug this one shot. The second story arc finds John and Clark and their dog Crypto on this dinosaur planet, and they find out that they are not the first humanoids to make it to the island, and they run into like this lone survivor, and the group trying to make their way off the island without getting eaten by dinosaurs. Did I mention there are dinosaurs in this story? That's one of my favorite parts, honestly. How can you not love Dinosaur Island? Especially if you have superpowers, so like, you know Superman's gonna be okay, right? And then the main kind of story arc in here is Damian Wayne, Bruce Wayne's son, aka Robin, has kidnapped John, and I'm not exactly sure what Damian's thought process in this, like in kidnapping is. Like, is he trying to test Superman's son, or is he trying to take John out? I guess that's 10-year-old thinking for you. But anyway, we have Damian and John meeting, and these two young boys who both have superpowers, but are still both young boys, and their interactions together. So there's a lot of fighting, especially since Damian's kind of a jerk. Like, they're fun to watch together, but Damian's a little bit of a pill and a tiny bit obnoxious. To very obnoxious. And then we have their dads, Superman and Batman, teaming up, trying to teach the boys a lesson about working together and respecting each other's unique abilities and how that can benefit you. Teamwork is awesome. And them being 10-year-old boys, so whether or not that lesson sinks in, we will have to wait and see. So I really actually enjoyed the dynamic between Damian and John, and their situations are kind of similar, where their dads are both superheroes, and they both have super pets. Damian's got his bat cow up there, and whatever Goliath is, man bat thing, definitely one of the highlights of this particular volume. And then there is another story arc within this volume where we have Frankenstein showing up and trying to take out Lois's new boss at her job at the small town newspaper. And Lois is not having that. Lois really definitely shines in these comics, let me just tell you. So she tries to defend her new boss, and Superman does show up because, that's his wife, dude. Back off. This particular story wasn't quite as good as the others, but I still enjoyed it. There's enough personal human touches in this story to make it interesting, but the driving force behind the Frankenstein one isn't quite as good as the others in this series so far. And then Volume 3, Multiplicity, has this story with a bunch of multiverse supermen converging. So we have this one villain trying to collect each of the Superman or Superwoman from the different multiverses and drain their powers. And so our Superman is not okay with that. He would like to keep his powers and also, help his other Superman friends. So this particular story was not fun. I didn't enjoy it. I actually felt like it was a chore to get through this Multiplicity story. I don't know what these other multiverses are. We don't spend enough time with these characters for me to really understand who they are and where they're coming from. I get that they're all Superman, but still. So yeah, we've got all the different supermen and superwomen in peril, and I just don't know anything about these other supermen or superwomen, so I don't really care about them the way I care about our Clark. Con Keenan from the new Superman comics makes an appearance. He's the Superman from China, and even though I know him, like, I wasn't even invested in his story because we spent so little time on it. Like, just trying to jam as many characters as we can in here didn't really work. Like, there's no emotional connection to any of these to make me care, especially when we find out that the bad guy isn't necessarily trying to go after our Clark. We also have other Justice League characters from different multiverses, and again, I didn't know who these particular versions of these characters were. So even though I know who Aquaman is and, you know, Hal Jordan and the Flash and stuff, didn't translate to these versions of them. Like, I didn't have those same connections, so it just kind of felt flat. I'm really not a fan of multiverse stories. In this volume, there is a one-shot story where John and his friend Kathy go looking for her grandfather who has gone missing late at night, out in a swamp by themselves, and things get very creepy, and it feels very spooky and Halloween-esque, and I really liked this one. It was fun. I liked this one shot. I really love Halloween, so I loved the spooky vibe of it, and not really knowing what's happening. This last comic was nice. I liked this, and I did not like the rest of the storylines in Multiplicity, basically. So Multiplicity on the whole got 2 stars from me. I really didn't like this. It took me forever to get through, and it wasn't very fun. Volumes 1 and 2, on the other hand, both got 4 stars from me. They are fun. I really love the family dynamic. That's the main thing here, for me at least. So I really love the family dynamic of Clark with John trying to raise him and his marriage to Lois and trying to be like the normal neighbors who don't have superpowers. I like that personal development, and I like watching John become whoever he's going to become. On the whole, this Superman feels hopeful. Like, I like this Superman. This is somebody that I can believe in, and we start to see that even within the rest of the world. They're like, hey, we have Superman back. It's not our same Superman, but we have a Superman, and there is this, like, hopeful feeling when people encounter him. Even though he's not their Superman, he's still Superman, and I love it. On the whole, I say check out this series. Multiplicity was not my favorite, but that doesn't mean somebody else isn't going to love it. Let me know in the comments below if you have been reading these or if you've been reading the other DC Rebirth versions of Superman. Peace out. I love you guys, and keep reading. Bye.